that may be going on. It's important that we know that at all times there is that peace, that quiet within. It's important that we know. So tuning into that peaceful, calm place, I urge you to take a very deep breath. And let it out. And one way to think about that is following the breath. The breath is going to happen. We just need to follow. So knowing that all emotions are God-given, all emotions are nothing but data that we can pay attention to, and then decide for ourselves what that divine right action is, as we all have agency to act on our emotions. And to also know that we don't have to stay with the anger. We can tune into the calm for that refreshing renewal that helps us go on. So just getting quiet. We're going to spend about 15 minutes just in meditation. So enjoy. pay attention to your emotions. They are God-given. Don't dismiss them. Sit with them. Let them pass through you. Let them guide you to know whatever is yours to do in this lifetime. And do it. So I thank you for participating in our meditation, for helping us each prepare ourselves to open up to not only what we're going to hear at the service at 10:15, but also what we can hear at any moment when we turn within. And that's a gift. So thank you for your presence, and we'll see you at 10:15.
everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you have chosen to join us here in our sanctuary at 4 Points by Sheridan, or perhaps you've invited us into your home through the power of live streaming, we are very glad that you are here. The sound in the room and the video is going to look a little bit different today. We've had a few little challenges along the way, so thank you very much for your flexibility and your willingness to work with us here. I said that perhaps you would think that I had asked if I could sit in somebody's lap in order to speak today, because as you'll see, we've moved way forward. And while that would be a really fun thing for do, it's not really what the intention was. We're just trying to get closer to a very small camera that we have to use today. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer. My pronouns are she and her. And I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We are a spiritual community that can support you as you strive for your own personal relationship with God, a spiritual community where you are respected and accepted exactly the way that you are, a space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to grow into your highest and best self. You are welcome here no matter where you are on your spiritual path. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of over 450 spiritual communities, special focus groups, and teaching chapters in 30 countries worldwide. The Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life whose global vision is a world that works for everyone. And I happen to think that's a very awesome global vision to have. Just a couple of quick announcements for things that are coming up over the course of this week. Passover. The Jewish observance of Passover begins at sundown on Saturday, the 12th of April, and it concludes at nightfall on Sunday, April 20th. It's a sacred celebration of freedom, really commemorating the Israelites' liberation from bondage in Egypt. It is honored through traditions such as the Seder meal, the retelling of the Exodus story, and the abstaining from leavened foods. Reverend Scott Aubrey says, this ancient festival speaks powerfully to our present moment. In a world marked by conflict in the Middle East, Ukraine, and countless other regions, Passover reminds us of the enduring human longing for deliverance, freedom, peace, and the promise of a new beginning. Additionally, we remember the plights of refugees, migrants, and sojourners in the U.S. and in other lands. In the 8 days of Passover and always, we hold the right of freedom for in our hearts and advocate in word and deed for liberation and social justice for everyone. April 12th is also Walk on Your Wild Side Day. Walk on Your Wild Side Day, observed annually on April 12th, encourages individuals to step out of their comfort zones and to embrace spontaneity. Created by Thomas and Ruth Roy, this day serves as a reminder to break free from routine and engage in activities that defy personal norms or societal expectations. The invitation is to embark on a project or a venture that you've been avoiding. Explore new vistas. Do something spontaneous or totally outside of your comfort zone. The essence of Walk on Your Wild Side Day is to challenge yourself to act unpredictably and embrace the thrill of the unknown, fostering self-discovery and a new way of being. So everyone, begin to think about what you're going to do for Walk on the Wild Side Day. A story that combines this day with my message is that two grains were lying side by side on some fertile soil. The first grain said, I want to grow up. I want to put down roots deep in the ground and sprout up from the ground. I dream of blossoming in delicate buds and proclaiming the coming of spring. I want to feel the warm rays of sun and dewdrops on my petals. The grain fulfilled his calling and grew up and became a beautiful flower. The second grade said, I'm afraid. If I put down my roots in the ground, I don't know what they will face up there. I will grow tender stems. They can be damaged by the wind. If I grow flowers, they may be disrupted. So I'd rather wait here for a safer time. Thus, the second grade waited until a chicken passing by. Walk on the wild side, everybody. In this moment, I'd like to thank Marianne Atwell Hardy for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. So thank you very much for that. And I would like to now invite the awesome Eileen Proctor up for our announcements.
Greetings, everybody. I am Eileen Proctor. My pronouns are she and her as well, although I believe that it's also us, because we're all one. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. This is new for me, and I just messed up the microphone. All right. Did that work? All right, that worked. So here are some announcements for everybody. As you might know already, on Wednesday evening, our services are called the Wednesday Experience, and that's a look through meditation, musings, metaphysics, and magic. And each week the evening will be facilitated by a host of ministers, practitioners, and others who will share an insightful, revealing, and perhaps provocative reading or story, and then facilitate a meditation. And following the meditation, we will all have an opportunity to share. Now, this service is held on Zoom between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., 8:15 p.m., and you can get the information in our newsletter of how to participate. Now, I know that Reverend Dusty told us about the 12th of April, but on Sunday, April 13th, we're going to be having a Zoom meeting following the service. If you're in the sanctuary for the service, you're invited to simply stay, but if you're not, you're invited to move from StreamYard to Zoom for the meeting, or if you can, of course, come down and join us for the meeting if that's what works best for you. The meeting will begin at 9:40-ish.
11:40.
Oh, 11:40, sorry, it must have changed the time zone. 11:40-ish, and will run for approximately 30 minutes. We will be facilitating an update on the TCSL finances and allow for gratitude, ideas, questions, and concerns. Now, it's important for the entire community to participate. And since I'm not talking, it will be short, I promise, all right? The link will be the same link that we use for Wednesday services, which will be in this Wednesday's newsletter and on our website. And I think it's right there on the screen, so get out your pens and be writing that down fast and furiously. What? Okay, this is a Save the Date announcement for an upcoming prosperity class to be taught by Edwene Gaines. Some of you know about Edwene Gaines, but she is one of the most foremost prosperity teachers, past, present, and future. And she's going to be facilitating a 4-lesson prosperity class free to anyone who would like to participate. Is there anybody in this room that wants more prosperity? Please raise your hand. Right? You guys out there, if you're sitting at home and watching this, if you're interested in more prosperity, could you raise your hands? Thank you, I see that. All right, so anyway, this is free for anyone who wants to participate. Now, we thought it might be really powerful for us all to participate in these sessions together as a community. So because we'll be together, we'll also be able to spend a few moments after the class to answer questions, talk about those practical ideas, and create collective mental equivalents for our community. Everybody is welcome. Now, they're going to be on Zoom, and they're going to be hosted by Rev Dusty. And they will start following the completion of our service. So they're going to be held on the 4th Sunday of April, May, June, and July. And your invitation is to bring something to eat as we are watching the class. And buckle up as we receive some great insights from the amazing prosperity teacher, Edwene Gaines. If you're interested, please RSVP to Heather at info@trianglecsl.org. And That's my announcement. It's been great seeing you all, and now I want to welcome back to the podium Mary Ann Atwell-Hardy. Woo, come talk to us.
All right, the theme for the year 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. Our theme for the month of April is Fertilizing Our Future. Rev Dusty's message today is Rooting Deeper, Enriching Our Soil of Possibilities. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So now I invite you to take a deep breath, let it go. Center yourself, get quiet, wiggle around, whatever it takes to open your heart, open your mind, and just listen to the sound of the crystal bowls as the beautiful music washes over you. Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity of all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths.
And so
Thank
it
you.
is.
And so it is.
Amen.
And now I'd like to invite up licensed practitioner Heather Abbott to do an invocation and blessing for today.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So lovely to see your faces. Please take this moment to close your outer eyes if you're comfortable. Turn within. As I speak a word of blessing on today's service, knowing that it is already whole, perfect, and complete in the eyes of Spirit. So grateful in this moment to feel that presence, to feel that love, that infinite joy, that amazing wisdom that I know as Spirit, that power and source that is everywhere, all of the time. I know that we are fueled and funded by that source. I know that is the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each sentient being on the planet, that we are all connected by that golden thread of God's stuff, that I'm grateful. I'm pleased this morning to speak a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty as she comes forth with her message today, knowing that we are all listening with open hearts and open minds. So grateful for her willingness to be connected to Spirit and to deliver those words that each of us need to hear. So grateful for Sandy as he comes forth with his gift of music to lighten our hearts and put a little song in our day. So grateful for Mary Ann and her beautiful meditation that started us off. I'm grateful for Ava, for her work in AV, and her service to our community. So grateful for each volunteer who helps set the room and break down the room and do all that is needed so that we can be here for folks in the room and folks online. So grateful for each person in our community, each person that brings their unique, beautiful light that makes our community what it is. So grateful. I speak all of these words with gratitude in my heart, knowing these blessings in you. And so it is.
So it is.
Our reading for today is from Derek Rydall in his book, Emergence, 7 Steps for Radical Change. He says, as the acorn grows, the roots dig down into the dark soil, the detritus of all things that have outlived their usefulness and fallen into decay, working with nature rather than against it, using what exists rather than resisting it. The conditions are cultivated for its emergence. When we embrace all the dirt of our lives, tapping into the raw experiences we've been planted in, surrounded by, and sometimes nearly buried under, the process of emergence turns those dark, seemingly decayed parts into the nutrients that nourish new growth. We lose the struggle, judgment, and shame of a life spent to avoid, repress, or deny what is or has been, and transmute everything into something useful and supportive. We establish deep roots, bring forth rich fruits, and evolve the way nature intended. I feel like throwing it in. So it is after that.
Amen.
Amen. And now please help me in welcoming to our stage the wonderful Sandy Hemingway.
This song is by Eddie Watkins Jr. It's called Garden. There is a garden where dreams come true. Beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows. A beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place light and love, you can have anything you've been dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything you've been dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. Garden is you, a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Thank you so very much, Sandy. That's a beautiful song. I always love it when I hear that one. So welcome and good morning to anyone who has just arrived in the sanctuary, or perhaps turned on your televisions or your computers at home. Welcome to April, right? Welcome to April, brand new month. And as we step into this brand new month, we're really invited to embrace the theme of fertilizing our future. This theme, in conjunction with the broader context of rising higher and growing deeper, causes us, as Reverend Elijah Christopher says, to focus on the long-term cultivation of our inner and outer worlds. Just as a gardener prepares the soil to ensure a vibrant and healthy garden, we too must nurture our minds and spirits to step into our highest and best. So a few weeks ago, I talked about the parable of the sower. And in the parable of the sower, Jesus talks about the different kinds of soil that are available to the sower or to the farmer as he or she broadcasts the seeds out upon the ground. Now, metaphysically, those different soils really represent the different natures of our consciousness. And those few weeks ago, that's what we talked about. Now, today, we're going to look at the soil in a little different way. Today, the question is, how can we prepare the soil so that it is fertile? How can we prepare the soil so that it is accepting of our seeds? Now, the underlying meaning of fertilizer is to render capable of development, or to enrich, or to generate. Now, fertilization is the process of making soil more productive of plant growth. Now, I recognize that there is a big divide or a debate that is going on in the agricultural community over the use of organic fertilizers versus synthetic fertilizers. And this age-old debate has roots that run deep. That pun was clearly intended. That run deep, with proponents on both sides that really defend their chosen methods. Now, organic fertilizers are derived from natural sources, as the name implies, such as decomposed plant matter or animal waste. They offer a gentle and sustainable approach to soil enrichment. In contrast, synthetic fibers provide a potent blend of chemical compounds promising immediate results, but yet raise questions about their long-term effects on the plant life and on the life of the soil. Now, I'm not here today to enter into that debate, because I don't know nothing about fertilization. So, but rather, the intention is to really use this idea of fertilization as a metaphor for enriching our own consciousness, for creating fertile ground for our own growth, expansion, and evolution. Now, as I said, I don't know much about fertilizers, but apparently fertilizers, whether we're talking about the synthetic ones or we're talking about the natural ones, contain potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Potassium is used by the plants for plant color and size, and it's important for the strength of the plant. Nitrogen is used by the plant for really making greener, lusher leaves. Phosphorus is used by the plant to increase the fruit size and to really produce a strong root system. Fertilizing our future in the way that we're looking at it today really emphasizes the importance of enriching our consciousness. And just as fertilizer acts on the soil and acts on the plant in a really complex manner, how we enrich our own consciousness is also very complex and very multifaceted. So as I said earlier, potassium is used by the plants for flower color and for size and for the strength of the plant itself. And as I thought about our own consciousness, what is it that gives strength to our consciousness, to give strength to the seeds that we plant in our consciousness? What is it that creates a positive difference and fuels the highest and best and strongest expression of our highest and best self. For me, I believe that it is love, forgiveness, and gratitude. For me, love is the greatest fertilizer of them all. And Ernest Holmes says, without love, there is no hope of growth. The soul, unloving, becomes unlovely. Love is the giving of the self, and without this flow, there is no growth, no ripening of the finest force known in all nature. Love itself is the universal urge of spirit for self-expression, and when this is still stifled in the individual, life cannot express its greater good through him. And, of course, I will add her, since Ernest didn't know there was any women on the planet at the time. Forgiveness equals freedom. The freedom to really create from this perfect now moment, from a blank slate, or to create from a context that is free from mistakes, from past mistakes, from dwelling on them, from old hurts, from judgments that we may have about ourselves or about others, for old patterns or worn out ways of living and of being in the world. Joan Boyasenko says of forgiveness, forgiveness is the exercise of compassion, and it is both a process and an attitude. In the process of forgiveness, we convert the suffering created by our own mistakes or as a result of being hurt by others into psychological and spiritual growth. Gratitude is simply generative in and of itself. In an energy of acceptance and gratitude for what is, instead of complaining about and resisting the unfolding of life, our good is able to flow when we are coming from that space of gratitude. In his book, Spiritual Liberation, Reverend Michael Beckwith says, evolved people give thanks for life, for the intelligence within the body temple. Can you imagine? Within nature, for what most people don't even notice as they navigate their day. Gratitude is an expression of humility, a recognition that even before we ask, good has been given to us. I also said that nitrogen is used for the plant for producing greener, lusher leaves. Green is the color of spring, and it signifies rebirth. It signifies creativity and abundance and growth. Now, the green pigment in a plant is called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is critical for the process known as photosynthesis. It is that which allows the plant to absorb energy from light. Now, within the soil of our consciousness, what is it within us that allows for growth? What is it within us that allows us to absorb the light? What allows us to be lush, to be the fullest expression of our highest self? What does the soil of our consciousness have to become? For me, the qualities that come to mind are oneness, expectancy, allowing, and acceptance. The underlying truth is that the plant has everything it needs within it to grow, to expand, and to evolve. And so do we. The plant does not toil. It simply is what it was created to be and does what it was created to do. And I believe so can we. Now, for me, how we can do this is to really be firmly grounded in our awareness of our oneness and to know that we were all, with absolutely no exceptions, created in the image and likeness of God. For me, how we can do this is to really recognize that growth, change, and expansion happen not because we want it to, not because we deserve it, but rather because we expect it. It is done unto you as you believe. The invitation is for us to sow our seeds from an attitude of expectancy, and then to simply watch as life unfolds. The invitation is to be receptive and to really allow for that unfoldment, for all of the good to rush into our lives, and to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God can only do for us what God can do through us. And lastly, I said that phosphorus, right, is used by the plant to increase fruit size and to really produce a strong root system. Now, as I look at how this can mirror in our own lives and in our own consciousness, I believe that we have to have patience, faith, belief, and trust. So beginning with patience, the invitation is to have it, to not continually go back and dig up the seeds that we have sown, to keep our eyes and our attention and our intention singularly focused on what we have sown, and to not continually go back and dig it up. Like, is it, check it out, is it working now? Oh, how come it hasn't started working yet? To remember that it can take up to 5 years for the first shoots of a bamboo seed to break through the ground. That it is taking all of that time underneath the ground to really be able to create the root system that is strong enough to be able to really handle the stalks that will make themselves known in just a very quick period of time. And our lives can be the same, so the invitation is to have patience. Henry Ford is attributed with saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So the invitation is to believe that we can be or do or have whatever we believe that we can be or do or have. We're encouraged to assume the feeling tone of the person that already has that thing that we want or already is the thing that we want to become. This raises our energetic vibration to a vibration of something that is higher than where we are right now, to something that is bigger and broader and more expansive than we are right now, to something that is perhaps better than what we could have ever even imagined. The invitation is to trust that we live in a universe that is always for us and never against us, and to turn away from any appearance of anything to the contrary. As we would create a fence right around our garden to protect those seeds or to protect the plants, the small plants as they are just beginning to grow from animals that would tear them up, or chickens that would peck them up. The invitation is to create an energetic field around our consciousness from the naysayers and the disbelievers that would try to argue with us or convince us that it's not possible. To turn away from our own negative thoughts and to watch the ideas that show up like weeds, right? The ideas of doubt and worry that show up like weeds, and to do the inner work to be able to release them as soon as we are able to do that. These then, right, are the perfect fertilizer for our seeds and for the soil of our consciousness. Love, forgiveness, gratitude, oneness, expectancy, allowing, receptivity, patience, faith, belief, and trust. In his book, Learn to Live, Irvin Seal says, so we come to this great truth, that our ability to receive from others or from life itself, to receive either good or what we might call bad, depends entirely upon what we are ourselves. Let us look at our soil. Let us develop our soil, and the seeds which are in it will sprout and grow. Love, forgiveness, gratitude, oneness, expectancy, allowing, receptivity, patience, faith, belief, and trust. Just as a gardener tends to their soil to ensure a bountiful harvest, we must nurture our inner environment to realize our full potential. So what are some practical ideas? I know that you all like the practical ideas. So what are some practical things that we can do really to cultivate a fertile inner soil as we journey through life? The first idea is to reflect on our past experiences. Exploring past experiences, both positive and challenging, can serve to enrich our lives. Every challenge and every experience in our life carries some valuable lessons. Those moments, no matter how we might describe them, act as nutrients that enrich the soil of our lives. For instance, think about some of the trials that we may have all faced at some point in time or another, times when we felt like life was almost unbearably difficult, when the weight of the world seemed much too heavy. As we reflect on these moments, the possibility exists that we can recognize the strength and the resilience that we developed as we navigated through them. It's not always easy in the moment to notice those things or to recognize those things or to, even acknowledge those things, but hindsight can really tell us how much we've grown, and we can just expect, right, that same experience will happen moving forward. Today's reading said, when we embrace all the dirt of our lives, tapping into the raw experiences we've been planted in, surrounded by, and sometimes nearly buried under, the process of emergence turns those dark, seemingly decayed parts into the nutrients that nourish our growth. We lose the struggle, judgment, and shame of a life spent trying to avoid, repress, or deny what is or has been, and transmute everything into something useful and supportive. The invitation is for each of us to really consider the obstacles that we have overcome, and to recognize that every hurdle required us to dig deep, to find new ways of thinking and new ways of acting, and to stretch outside of our comfort zones. These obstacles, whether they were external, like financial hardships, or internal, like self-doubt, provided a really profound understanding of our capabilities that we might not have even known that we had, giving us a really stronger sense of self, of who we really are. These experiences offers lessons to be learned and gives us wisdom and strength to really face future possibilities with confidence and clarity. Moments of growth, both large and small, play a really crucial role in enriching our soil. These are the times when we push ourselves to learn something new, to develop a new skill, or to embrace a new perspective. Each step forward, no matter how small, really adds to the richness of our inner soil. making it more fertile for future growth. Instead of viewing these experiences as burdens, the invitation is to see them as essential components of our personal growth. By changing our perspective, we can transform our challenges into opportunities, and to really embrace them as parts of our journey, parts that are significant and important. Through this enriched soil, we really cultivate a life filled with possibilities and resilience and continued growth. Now, the second idea is to nurture our dreams and our aspirations. Our dreams, just like seeds, are full of potential, waiting for the right conditions to really be able to grow and to flourish. Just as a gardener prepares the soil, we must create an environment that is conducive to nurturing our dreams. Now, this begins with setting clear intentions, surrounding ourselves with supportive people, and dedicating time and energy to our passions. By actively nurturing our dreams, we create a fertile ground where they can take root and flourish. This careful cultivation ensures that our dreams are not just fleeting thoughts, but actually vibrant realities, growing stronger and thriving in an environment that we have prepared for them. The third idea is to prioritize long-term soil health. And oftentimes, think about it in your own life, oftentimes we get lost in this pursuit of short-term gains. So much so that we might neglect the long-term health of our inner soil. In our fast-paced world, it's really easy to want quick fixes and immediate rewards, like the instant gratification of social media or fast food or other really shortcuts that promise swift satisfaction. Shifting our focus to long-term growth requires a conscious effort to adopt practices that promote well-being and sustainable well-being. Now, those kinds of practices would be like the ones we talk about here all the time: meditation, prayer, visioning, contemplation, continuous learning, mindfulness, and really building really significant relationships that are meaningful to us. This is what this community does. This is what this community is all about. So these practices require time and they require dedication, but they contribute greatly to the health, long-term health of our inner soul, of our consciousness. By investing in activities that really promote sustainable well-being, we ensure that our foundation remains strong and fertile, like the root system of the bamboo, capable of supporting our dreams, our aspirations, and our intentions for years to come. Instead of seeking immediate rewards, right, we cultivate a mindset that's focused on enduring growth and lasting fulfillment, leading to a richer, more satisfying life. A life that, for me, really is about the idea that anything is possible. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. So, I just invite everyone to turn within for a moment of prayer, to really anchor this conversation in that rich soil of our consciousness. And so I invite everyone to close their outer eyes, to take a nice deep breath. And as I do so, I am acutely aware of the power and presence of the divine that is within me. That peace, that joy, that creativity, that wisdom, that divine right action and divine right order that is at the core of my being. Created in the image and likeness of God, I am all that it is, although that presence is so much grander. I am its ambassador on the planet. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is absolutely the truth of each and every person here at 4 Points, each and every person at home, watching this live or tuning into it at some later point in time, all sentient beings on the planet. We are all unique and individualized expressions of the One, bound together by that golden thread of God's love. And it is from this place of unity that I speak these words about and for each and every single one of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, that we arrived on the planet with everything that we need to really experience a life that we love to live. Everything that we need to grow into our highest and best, to realize our fullest potential. And what I claim and know for us today is that we are able to step into this idea of fertilization, this idea of creating a soil that is capable of really enhancing, enriching, generating that kind of growth for each and every single one of us. That through love and forgiveness and gratitude and faith and trust and patience, that we can really create a consciousness that is capable of bringing forth all of those aspects of the divine that we arrived on the planet with, that is capable of bringing them forth in a really powerful and wonderful way. That we can create a soil that can sustain our well-being throughout an entire lifetime, and that we can do so in relationship with each other, in relationship with people that support our growth, that recognize the truth, that get behind our intentions, and that with patience and allowing and receptivity, we allow that good to unfold in our lives in really magnificent and wonderful ways, ways that we could not have even imagined. And I'm so grateful for the way that this works, so grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that I loose my words into a law that only ever says yes, that it is done unto me, unto us, unto the world as we expect. And so I expect goodness, I expect kindness, I expect love, I expect growth, I expect well-being beyond this moment, but moving forward into all of the days of our lives. And so I release these words into that law, letting go and letting God be God, and I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Amen. It is now time for our conscious giving. This is a time each week when we offer some financial support to this community so that we can continue to be a beacon of light and love and warmth in the Greater Triangle area. What I know about this offering is that it raises up this community, it prospers the one giving, and it adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are 3 different ways that you can give. They're here on your screen or on your screens at home. Visit our website at trianglecsl.org. You can text the word GIVE to 919-629-9148, or you can actually mail a check to our PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I now invite everyone to take your gift, hold it against your heart with an intention for yourself or for loved ones in your life or for this community, and we will do our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude knowing that God is my source.
I give with gratitude knowing that God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for your generosity, and please now be generous as we welcome Sandy back to his piano.
This is one that I wrote a while back. It's called One Heart at a Time. One heart at a time, one heart at a time. I will vow today to give my love away to one heart at a time, one heart at a time. I will start today, and I will start with mine. Time to see a world that is in pain, fear and hate and anger falling like the rain. I want to change the world that I can see, but how can I, because I'm only me. That's the answer, though it might seem strange. The first step is for me to be the change. One heart at a time, one heart at a time. I will vow today to give my love away. One heart at a time, one heart at a time. I will start today, and I will start with mine. So when I choose to see a better day, it seems that more abundance comes my way. Open up and start to give. The universe aligns to help me live. That's the answer, though it might seem strange. The first step is for me to be the change. Of just one heart can become the spark that starts the fire
If you would like prayer for anyone or anything, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and at the bottom of any page, click on prayer request, and then click that button and fill in the form, and we'll get your prayer and know those prayers for you during the week. If you would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. We appreciate you helping us supply lovely flowers for the pulpit, and you get to take the flowers home. Now is the time for our brand new April affirmations. There's some papers on your chairs as well as up on the screen. Please stand if you're comfortable and repeat after me with meaning. Today, I declare my intention to enrich my soil of possibilities, nurturing a fertile ground for my dreams to grow.
Today, I declare my intention to enrich my soil of possibilities, nurturing a fertile ground for my dreams to grow.
In order to do that, I do the inner work to discover how my past can nourish my growth.
In order to do that, I do the inner work to discover how my past can nourish my growth.
I affirm that my past experiences, both positive and challenges, can serve as valuable nutrients that enrich my life.
I affirm that my past experiences, both positive and challenges, can serve as valuable nutrients that enrich my life.
My commitment to visioning beyond the horizon encourages me to imagine the limitless possibilities that extend beyond my current view.
My commitment to visioning beyond the horizon encourages me to imagine the limitless possibilities that extend beyond my current view.
As I do so, I dream bigger and look further than I ever have before.
As I do so, I dream bigger and look further than I ever have before.
In order to do so, I do the inner work to understand Spirit's highest vision for my life.
In order to do so, I do the inner work to understand Spirit's highest vision for my life.
As I do so, I am reminded that I am a co-creator with the divine, endowed with the ability to shape my reality and manifest a life that I love.
As I do
So I am reminded that I am a co-creator with the divine, endowed with the ability to shape my reality and manifest a life that I love to live.
Embracing this truth, I am empowered to step boldly into the future, knowing that I am supported by a power and presence that is greater than I am, and that all is well.
Embracing this truth, I am empowered to step boldly into the future, knowing that I am supported by the power and presence that is greater than I am, and all is well.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you for that powerful response to our affirmations. You may be seated. Once again, please close your outer eyes and turn within as I speak a word of gratitude for this lovely Sunday celebration service, kicking off a beautiful spring month of April. So grateful for this loving community, for Centers for Spiritual Living as a larger force for good in the world. So grateful for today's service, for all of those that are here at 4 Points, for all of those that are joining us online in real time, and those that will watch at a later time. So grateful for the music, for the message, for the love that is felt in this room. For all of these myriad of reasons, I am grateful, and for so many more. And so it is.
So my gratitude goes out to everyone today, everyone participated in the service, and everyone that is watching from home or here in the sanctuary. I have one last thing to talk about, and I'd say that I'd save the best for last, the most important for last. However, in full transparency, the 6th, it just seemed so late in the month that I completely forgot that our flower dedication today is dedicated to all of those that have their birthdays in April. So is there anyone in the room that is celebrating their birthday in April? Maybe. Oh, some fingers are being pointed at a mom. There we go. So, and I'm sure there are some people at home, as Eileen said earlier, I see you raising your hands. Not so much really, but okay, I know that it's happening. So in this moment, I just invite everyone to put their hands out to those online or to those here in the room with birthdays in April, and to repeat after me, we see you.
We see you.
We know who you really are.
We know who you really are.
We celebrate the day that you arrived on the planet.
We celebrate the day that you arrived on the planet.
We are grateful for your presence.
We are grateful for your presence.
And we love you.
And we love you.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. So the flowers will go out to those with their birthdays in April. And we also now, after service today, we will be having our monthly lunch bunch. And we are going to Ruckus. So those of you that are watching online, you have time to jump in your car and join us at Ruckus. The address is 1101 Market Center Drive, Morrisville, North Carolina. 1101 Market Center Drive. The place is Ruckus, and we are all going to be there. So please come and join us. Thank you all so very much for a wonderful day. I love you all. See you soon.